the biggest event of the summer is almost upon us. We just need to go through NXT, Cruiserweight Classic, Lucha Underground, TNA, NXT Brooklyn, and then finally SummerSlam. Wow, there is a lot of wrestling in one week. The only day that's not given wrestling is Friday. Huh. Yeah, people can start making the argument wrestling might be getting overexposed. But I digress. Um, with a total of 11 matches happening under a 6-hour pay-per-view, 2 hours being dedicated to pre-show, I'm pretty sure 2 matches are going to be put onto the pre-show. My only speculation right now, I don't know if there's going to be a 12th match added to a 12th match added. That's going to be part of the pre-show as well. But the only other match I know is going to be part of the pre-show is Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi versus Natalya, Eva Marie, and Alexa Bliss. So there's not really much build up here. It was pulled at the last minute. Like the only build up that we've gotten is Natalya feuding with Becky Lynch and Carmella, and Naomi getting mad at Eva Marie for ditching her match up on SmackDown when they said she got stuck in traffic. And Alexa Bliss, yeah, why is she here? She's just your resident villain and therefore needs to be part of the villains team? Okay. So, I won't be surprised if Eva Marie does something. Like, Eva Marie has been dodging her debut constantly for the last 3 weeks. First was a injury, and I put that in quotations. Then it was a wardrobe malfunction, which has apparently gotten popular on YouTube because, well, it's Eva Marie. Like, despite her very bad wrestling skills, at least everyone can say, "Oh well, she's at least hot." So yeah, let's be clear with that because she is. I don't want to deny she's pretty, but like I said, that is pretty much the only reason why I'm pretty sure the wardrobe malfunction got popular on YouTube. And plus, I'm a little surprised they did the wardrobe malfunction, and especially at where they did it, because this is the PG era, also known as the PC era, the politically correct era. So I'm pretty sure at least 50 people got offended by that. Because sexualization of women, they're doing it again. No. But that's a different story. So yeah, this six woman tag team match is pretty much thrown in at the last minute. Nothing really much here. Don't be expecting big things to happen since it's most likely going to be on the kickoff. It would surprise me if it's on the 4-hour pay per view. But alternately, it's going to be most likely passable, and I'm pretty sure with. And this is pretty much the first match. There's like only 2 matches here. I'll get to that in a minute. There's only 2 matches I know where I'm pretty sure what the outcome is. Or maybe the only match. 2 matches I know what the outcome is, but I'll get to that at the end. Now we have Cesaro versus Sheamus. Now they've been having a feud for a couple of weeks now. Cesaro beat Sheamus twice in 2 weeks, and well, Sheamus got pissed off, and then when Cesaro challenged Rusev for the U.S. title, Sheamus came out and screwed him over, and then Cesaro did the same thing when Sheamus had his match with Sami Zayn. Then Mick Foley announced that it would be a best of 7 series with the first match. Well, I don't know if they're going to count the other 2 matches, but right now this is currently just confirmed to be the first match of Cesaro versus Sheamus. So expect 6 more matches after this. Yeah, it's gonna get really old quickly. I gotta have to give Orton Cena credit. While they've done it so many times to the point stay, at least they gave huge time betweens before they did it again. At least that. I mean, like, I'm not saying the stories were great, but ultimately they at least gave a breath of fresh air afterwards. But we're going to get 7 matches in total between Cesaro and Sheamus. And not denying that these guys can work well off each other, but it's going to get old very quickly with fans after, like, the 3rd match. And this is their 3rd match together in the span of 1 month. And Cesaro has a chip on his shoulder ever since his shoot promo he cut on during the draft where he got picked a very late entry and he was upset about it, and reportedly he got a little bit of heat backstage because what he said on there, and then reportedly Vince McMahon was like, "Oh, thank you, Cesaro. That's actually going to be a big boost for your career. You see, I like it when people defy the authority and whatnot," which is hypocritical because Vince has punished people for defying the authority in WWE. Not in storyline, but we're talking about real life here. Like, if someone said something on TV or in a dark match, they get fired immediately. Pragmatics. And then we got Titus O'Neil grabbing Vince McMahon's in an act of chivalry. I'm pretty sure Titus tried everything he could to explain the situation, but no. No, BS on that. Also, the 12th match I think is going to be Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil after their little scuffle towards each other in the tag team reunion, which was the most pointless one I ever saw in my entire life. Now we have The Miz versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. Okay, Apollo Crews won a triple threat match against Baron Corbin and Kalisto, and what? What, were you expecting something? Not really. Like, they have not interacted after that build-up. Like, throughout this entire build, like they only encountered once, and that was during a commercial break on SmackDown, on the final SmackDown till SummerSlam, so Apollo Crews got the upper hand, so we all know how that's going to end. So, yeah, nothing's really set here. Like, there's no tension. It's just a standard title defense match, so, yeah. Nothing really much going to happen out of this. Now we have Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens. And, okay, I get Chris Jericho having a problem with Enzo Amore and Big Cass, specifically Enzo Amore. But Kevin Owens, he just got involved. Like, I think he showed up on commentary one day, expressed his disdain for Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, Chris Jericho needs a partner, and Chris Jericho makes a fool of himself. Then Kevin Owens comes in and corrects him, and then says he got his back. And now they're calling them Jericho. And it's Michael Cole, so everyone's going to hate it. Even though I recall the internet saying that a week beforehand, and everyone wanting that name to be it. But when Michael Cole says it, it immediately is uncool. That's the mentality we're at. So, I'm pretty sure Enzo Amore and Big Cass are going to get the victory here. Like, this is the second match, I think, where Enzo Amore and Big Cass win. Whereas I said Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi get the upper hand, and Enzo Amore and Big Cass get the upper hand in their respective matches. So that's my big prediction on that. The other matches, the heels are going to go over. I'll explain at the end. So now we get the New Day, specifically Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, versus the Club, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. This started when the New Day were celebrating the night after Battleground, and then they attacked the New Day, beat them down. Then a week later, they gave Big E a contusion in his crotch after smashing his crotch in the ring post. And then Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows dressed it up as doctors and saying that that Big E has suffered from ring postitis, which was funny. So, and then they hinted that they were going to take the rest of the New Day's balls with them and basically castrate them. And the New Day also did something very sexual because the New Day went ahead, got some oranges and a banana, and, well, you can already take a guess where this is going. So, yeah, that happened in a PG environment. I wonder how many people was pissed off when they saw that. It's very politically correct nowadays. So with Big E, the secret weapon of the New Day, now out of commission, yeah, I'm seeing Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson winning the tag team championships, and I actually won't be complaining about that. Like, the New Day just got their biggest highlight, and plus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, since, well, they're going to fade into irrelevancy afterwards, they might as well go out with a bang. Like, Big E has more potential out of them now. Is going to get the biggest star push, and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are going to get left out in the cold, so might as well go out in style defending the tag team titles in a losing effort. So, yeah, now we have this match for the tag team championships. So, not much happened. Like, the New Day wanted to get revenge for Big E, and Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson got away. I've just been calling him Dark Doc Gallows because, well, that's what got him more over in Japan than it did here in WWE. Well, except for the Straight Edge Society gimmick, and that ended in disaster thanks to corporate saying, yeah, we don't like your ideas, Punk. We're going to do it our way. You would be a nice subordinate. So that's the New Day versus Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So now we get Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Now, okay, now I remember this match being on here. Like, this is going to be the third match where the face wins. Sasha Banks versus Charlotte. Like, it would surprise me if Charlotte gets the victory after Sasha Banks just won the women's title right on Raw on the night after the Battleground pay-per-view. And I was shocked they went there. Like, I was like, wow, they really blew their load on this, like, way too soon. Like, I was expecting Sasha Banks to get the crowning achievement at SummerSlam, but it's going to be on Raw. So, is that a good thing? Um, okay, like, if you want to do this. So Sasha Banks won the women's title, got an emotional moment. Now Charlotte wants revenge and wants her title back, and Dana Brooke has been banned from ringside due to a match she lost to Sasha Banks. Now, the best case scenario I'm thinking is that Sasha Banks gets the victory because Dana Brooke screwed Charlotte over because WWE wants to protect Charlotte and they want to start building Charlotte versus Dana Brooke because that was the plan since Vince McMahon looks at Dana Brooke and says, she's a female Roman Reigns. Yeah, I'm concerned about that. But recently there was a report saying that Vince McMahon has not been impressed with Dana Brooke, though that would be like saying the fans were impressed with Roman Reigns, and a lot of them keep saying he sucks still, but lately he's been getting more cheers, but I'll get to that in a moment. So I'm expecting Sasha Banks to get over from this match, and Charlotte to get a screwed finish because Dana Brooke's going to screw Charlotte because Charlotte's going to do something during the pay-per-view where she does something to Dana Brooke so badly, Dana Brooke's going to do something to screw Charlotte over even though she's barred from ringside. Or maybe she's going to... Or best case scenario I'm thinking, Ric Flair's going to distract Charlotte and Dana Brooke is going to distract the referee, and Ric Flair's going to distract the referee while Dana Brooke costs Charlotte the match. That's the best case scenario I'm thinking. And that's going to lead to a feud between them later down the road if that's still the plan. So now we have Rusev versus Roman Reigns for the United States Championship. Now, everyone was hoping for this match to happen, saying that before Roman Reigns wins the world title, he should have gotten the US title or the Intercontinental title. And everyone wanted to see Rusev versus Roman Reigns on the big stage. And to be honest, like, he won the tag team title, so that doesn't count, even though there's been like a dozen other wrestlers that won the world title after winning the tag team title. No, that doesn't count. Oh, why? Oh, because he's Roman Reigns. Oh, okay, now I get it. Like, okay. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck that logic. Roman Reigns, after losing a tournament match against Finn Balor to face Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. I'll get to that when I get to Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. Now, Roman Reigns is now challenging Rusev, and Roman Reigns also sabotaged the wedding party of Rusev and Lana since they recently got married and they celebrated it. And now Roman Reigns is now disgracing Lana by making up the part where Rusev was not able to please Lana during their wedding night and their honeymoon. They haven't had a honeymoon yet, unless you count them being on the road together. But that's a completely different story. Rusev wants to defend Lana's honor. Mick Foley made the match, even though Rusev said no. And then Rusev started to kiss up to Mick Foley, saying, yeah, I don't want to do this match. And then Rusev held up the show, demanding an apology from Roman Reigns. And that's like asking Roman Reigns to say, hey, Roman Reigns, could you stop being so popular with Vince McMahon? No? Okay. And even though that would actually happen, but that's beside the point. Roman Reigns challenged Rusev for the U.S. title, and, well, I'm hoping Roman Reigns wins this match because, well, I know he's still in the doghouse, so I highly doubt he's going to win, especially what happened on Monday Night Raw when he beat Rusev in a singles match. So, by the commandment of the WWE, if thou should get the upper hand right before the pay-per-view, thou shall lose that match. And plus, this is SummerSlam, and I'll get to that. And like I said, I'll get to that at the end of the video. Rusev is most likely going to go over. Probably Lana's going to screw Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns has been taking clean losses lately, mostly to Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Finn Balor. But like I said, I'll get to that. And, well, Roman Reigns going over, like, I'm pretty sure I'm expecting that at the next SmackDown pay-per-view, at the Raw pay-per-view, Clash of Champions. But Rusev right now, yeah, he's going to hold on to that U.S. title a little longer. If they do this switch and let Roman Reigns get the victory, it would be like trying to make the Rusev experiment like last time, except in half the time with the romance and without John Cena burying him. Yeah, that was the best formula they could come up with. Half the time to get Rusev over, and in half of that time, we also had romance subplots, and we also add in stupid dialogue from Lana saying something in Russian that no one else can understand most of the time. Other than, this is BS. I don't want to do this. Rusev demands no match against Roman Reigns. That's the best translation I got. The second time I thought what was going to be was Rusev complaining when he was announced to be facing John Cena at Fastlane was, I want to fight The Rock. I want to fight The Rock. At least he'll put me over compared to John Cena. Or at least do something that involves costing Lana doing something to screw Cena over and then get the match. And then get buried later. So now we get John Cena versus AJ Styles round 2. Well, technically round 3 unless you count their 6-man tag team match, but this is their second singles match together. But yeah, I'm hoping AJ Styles gets the victory here because does John Cena really need it? At this point, does he really need it? Oh wait, children will cry. And they will stop buying the merchandise because fuck that. So AJ Styles said he had figured John out, and I was expecting him to go shooting from the hip because, well, it's the only way you can get over when it comes to facing John Cena, or unless you're Bray Wyatt. And also, speaking of Bray Wyatt, I find it BS that Bray Wyatt's not even on the card. Like, that's total BS. Like, I wanted Bray Wyatt on the card, and I'll get to Bray Wyatt when I talk about Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler. So, John Cena and AJ Styles, AJ Styles said that he figured John out, and I said that I thought he was going to shoot from the hip, but instead he just bashed the fans constantly for the next 5 minutes. And then when John Cena says, "Let's go, Cena!" and then AJ Styles gets up to his face and says, "Cena sucks!" And I'm like, okay, yeah, who would really do that to John Cena's face? He will bury you because he's that egomaniacal when it comes to wrestling. And then John Cena goes on this long-winded speech about how much he loves WWE, how much he loves doing this, how much he loves being a wrestler, despite the fact he has all these other commitments outside of the company. Whoop-de-fucking-do. I really don't fucking care. Because I've seen this promo 2 times already, except this time they didn't go with the, well, you see, I visited a wounded soldier. Love me! Oh, cancer kid, love me! Mentality. So at least I was glad they didn't do that. But ultimately, it was the same rinse and repeat promo from John Cena, and AJ Styles stopped doing the whole shovel joke, and I was missing that. Like, I really had hoped they would do the shovel joke, and how AJ Styles would say, oh, like, the Nexus, or let's see, the Core, since the Core had an encounter with John Cena and The Rock. And, well, that was a pointless segment that happened. That was just the challenge for WrestleMania 28, and, well, the Core just interfered for the sake of interfering because gotta make Cena and The Rock look strong. And I was also expecting AJ Styles to list off a whole bunch of people who he knows were screwed over by John Cena, and now they left for greener pastures, or at least better opportunity than the one they gave him. So that didn't happen, so I was kind of finding this feud lackluster. It was just your typical, I'm a bad guy, I'm a good guy feud. So, like, even though this match is it's going to be one of those matches that steal the show, it's not going to be, well, the build-up has not what I thought it would be, or at least hoped it could have been. Now we get the surprising match, Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler. It's the first most surprising match to happen because Dolph Ziggler has been buried by the management for God knows how long. And, well, when Dolph Ziggler won the #1 contendership and John Cena, like, AA'd Attitude Adjust to everybody in the ring for like a minute straight, Dolph Ziggler got the win in the six-pack challenge, and that surprised me. Like, I didn't expect them to do that. Like, but the whole build-up between after that to SummerSlam, it all more looked like Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. Like, Bray Wyatt kept getting involved in the feud, and it really took away the element of Dolph Ziggler trying to scrape and crawl back to the top. Oh, and by the way, the fans that were saying, please, push Dolph Ziggler. We want him to be at the top. We want him to be the world champion again. And then after Dolph Ziggler finally gets the opportunity to be at the top, they say, boo, screw you. Dolph Ziggler's overexposed. He's useless. He can't wrestle. And I'm thinking, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this happened with Roman Reigns. He was popular. Then WWE pushed him. Then he fell apart. John Cena happened to him. Let's see. Seth Rollins, so that was because of booking mismanagement during his title reign. It was starting to happen to Charlotte. I won't be surprised if it happens to Sasha Banks. And now it seems Dolph Ziggler is doomed to suffer this cycle. So, yeah, so they took that whole hypocrisy comments and inserted them into the storyline where Dolph Ziggler is getting these criticisms of saying, like, how no one wants him anymore. And Dean Ambrose was acting like the smug heel for some reason, dismissing Dolph Ziggler, calling him just hype and no substance. So, I was wondering, so who's the heel here? Is it Dolph Ziggler or is it Dean Ambrose? Or are they doing what Roman Reigns and AJ Styles did, where they're kind of in the gray area? But, like I said, a lot of the build was taken away to start building up Bray Wyatt for some reason. Like, they were going to go with a triple threat match. Like, Bray Wyatt got involved and said that if he beats Dolph Ziggler, then he would get the #1 contendership at SummerSlam. Then Bray Wyatt lost, and then they started beating down Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler when Eric Rowan got involved. And then, like, I'm wondering, wait. Okay. Is Bray Wyatt going to be involved in the match? Is he going to be in a triple threat match with them? No? Like, that would have been cool, but this whole feud has been confusing for me. Like, they finally started giving a breather for Dolph Ziggler and Dean Ambrose to build things up on the final SmackDown, and Dolph Ziggler super kicks Dean Ambrose in the jaw, and then I was thinking, like, he has the same expression that Shawn Michaels did when he kicked Rowdy Piper in the face during the whole build-up between him and Hulk Hogan. So I just said that's coincidence, and like he's been mimicking Shawn Michaels' antics, but this is just pure coincidence to me. But ultimately, I'm pretty sure Dean Ambrose is gonna go over. Like, well, Dolph Ziggler, like, well, really, you really think they're gonna give him the title since WWE management doesn't like him for some reason because he has an opinion? Like, I get the company has investors and whatnot, but nothing he said was scathing. In fact, they could have taken the scathing remarks he made about the authority and how management's holding him back, and Randy Orton getting these title pushes that he made back in 2013. 3 years and WWE hasn't let that go. They could have put that in a storyline where Dolph Ziggler challenges the authority and had Randy Orton and Dolph Ziggler at Night of Champions instead of Daniel Bryan. And yeah, you could say, well, Daniel Bryan deserves that opportunity more than Dolph Ziggler at the time. But if they were really going to go with Daniel Bryan's eventual crowning moment, since WWE likes to say they were always planning to do that, I would have saved that match, and just went with Dolph Ziggler versus Randy Orton. So Dean Ambrose most likely going to go over. It'd be surprising if Dolph Ziggler gets the win. So now we get Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. A dream match to many. So after Finn Balor defeats Roman Reigns clean for the tournament to decide who would face Seth Rollins since he got passed and Stephanie McMahon likes him, to fight for the Universal Championship. Okay, I'm going to go on a brief tangent here regarding that. That is the stupid fucking name and history of stupid fucking names. Like, for championships. Like, I get that there have been titles outside of WWE called the Universal Belt, but when I hear WWE doing that, it's like, okay, we don't have the WWE World Championship on Raw. Let's make a super duper mega World Championship and just call it the Universal title. Like, that was how I looked at it. Like, I thought they literally just might as well have called it the Super Duper Mega World Championship. And especially, and I was like, okay, it's not the World Heavyweight belt. I'm like, I made a video talking about that, and I really wanted it to come back since I was a fan of the big gold belt, since it represented tradition and classical stuff, and it was a unique, never-changing belt. Like, they changed the back of the red alligator skin, but ultimately it didn't change that much. It was just so etched in tradition that I just felt like nothing could replace it to me. But now we get this Universal Championship, and according to Foley's, it looks the exact same thing like the WWE World Championship, except red. Fuck you, Vince. Like, that is the most creative thing you could come up with? Red? And just say Universal? It's like trying to make something bigger, like the Death Star could only shoot one planet apparently for a number of times. We have Star Killer Base that could blow up multiple planets at once from the sun. And I'm thinking, so it's just the Death Star but bigger and more powerful. Like, okay, BS. Okay, whatever. So Finn Balor and Seth Rollins had some interactions. How Finn Balor's vowing to beat Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins vowing to beat Finn Balor. And then on the final Raw, like, Finn Balor finally debuted the demon side of him, which I thought was a wasted opportunity. They could have saved it for SummerSlam, since, well, honestly, that was a pay-per-view that was always treated seriously in NXT TakeOver pay-per-views on the WWE Network. Why not do the same thing? Why give it away on Raw? Like, I get the idea for it, but it doesn't mean I agree with it. So, yeah, I was against Finn Balor debating his demon side on free television. They should really save that for pay per view, especially in New York, since that is going to blow the roof off the house. But it's too late now. We can't fix that. And also, there was an incident when Seth Rollins was cutting his promo. You see, a fan tried to get in the ring, and then the security tackled him. So, and the fan got arrested. So, yeah. Permission to sign, walk away. Permission denied. Permission to sign, lose faith in humanity. Yeah, I can do that. Why? I thought we were done with the fan incidents. Like, I know they were unavoidable. Like they should, like the fans being arrested for this, for when they do these incidents, they should be considered lucky, because if this was the old days, they would have, the wrestlers would have free permission to say, okay, if the fans try to bother you, like get in the ring and attack you, you have full legal rights and no jurisdiction and to beat the holy shit out of them. Oh, we can't do that because that would be bad for the company, even though the fans' incidents have gotten worse after last year. Like, I made a whole video about that. Especially the Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose against the Wyatt family match. Like, that was the funniest, but since Bray Wyatt sold it and says, "Is this your partner?" Even though it turned out to be Chris Jericho, like, at least they tried to do something about it. But Seth Rollins acting like a professional, even though I would have been all for kicking the fans' ass for trying to get involved in the show, and also potentially harming the said wrestler. But at least he acted professional. So, yeah, that was all my thoughts on the Universal Championship and the overall build of Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Them just saying, I'm going to beat this guy, I'm going to beat that guy. It wasn't really special much. And what, they didn't do anything special. They didn't do anything unique other than the demon entrance, which I said should have been saved till SummerSlam, or at least at a pay-per-view. Like, I really would have been awesome to see it happen in WrestleMania, but SummerSlam is the second biggest event, so I can settle for that. Now, originally I had found out that this was originally going to be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, but when Roman Reigns failed the wellness policy, Vince got pissed off about that and changed plans. So Finn Balor is only in this match because Roman Reigns failed the wellness policy. Yeah. So Finn Balor was at the right place at the right time. So Roman Reigns is selling for the U.S. belt, and Finn Balor is going to be possibly been given the Universal belt. Like, rumors were going around that Finn Balor will pull the upset and get the belt, but considering this is SummerSlam, yeah, I highly doubt that. So my money's right now on Seth Rollins, but if they do Finn Balor, I will not be surprised, but I will say, this could be interesting. Now we get to the 15-year match in the making. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. The Beast versus the Viper. F5 versus RKO. And they really ruined this opportunity here. Like, there were multiple things wrong with this build-up. Like, the first interaction after the announcement was made, like when Orton said no enhancement needed or required, that was actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's bring in this stuff. Because Brock Lesnar, during this whole beforehand, got in trouble with the UFC and USADA with a possible abuse of drugs before his UFC fight 200, and here's the problem I have. A lot of fans I looked up on said, "Oh, it's all right. He's a part timer. He can do whatever he wants." Like, they were all right with that, but when it came to Roman Reigns, he was like saying, "No, fuck that. Roman Reigns doesn't deserve any of this." Like, like, he's not Roman Reigns, therefore, he is exempt from this, from our wrath. Like, he even commented on Bleacher Report saying, "Yeah, here comes the people defending Brock Lesnar and criticizing Roman Reigns. Yeah, way to do double standards." Like, And then I found out that a representative of WWE had said that part-timers were exempt from the policy. And I get that. Really do. I really get that because part-timers are not around as much like the full-time wrestlers. So even if they got suspended, they're already, well, off work, so they wouldn't really be doing much. It'd be the same thing as usual. But you have to do something to show some form of punishment, like a huge exorbitant amount of money taken from them, or punish them for in a match, in their big upcoming match, like they should do tonight, like they should do at SummerSlam. Like Brock Lesnar loses to Randy Orton, like they should do that. But a report came out that Brock Lesnar will most likely be challenging whoever holds the Universal title at the Royal Rumble. So that means Brock Lesnar's going to go over, and Randy Orton's going to lose. Even though I kept saying Randy Orton winning should be the better option because Randy Orton has a lot more potential. And this is also where it gets weird because on the final SmackDown, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt pass each other. And, like, they didn't bring up the part where Bray Wyatt in storyline and his Wyatt family injured Orton during a Mexico tour, like they had said on commentary, even though the real story is that he took out the trash and injured himself somehow. I'm still questioning that. To this day, I'm questioning how that was physically possible. But Brock Lesnar's getting off scot-free and gets away with it. Like the USADA said that he'll be allowed to compete at SummerSlam. Okay, let's do that. Fine. So long as WWE punishes him, like make him lose the match or pay a lot of money to them, I'm okay with that. Nope, he's exempt from everything. You see, and here's the thing. The reason why I respect Roman Reigns more is because he said he owns up to it. He said he owned up to it. He made no excuses. Brock Lesnar, however, said, "We will get to the bottom of this." And that was really, really stupid. Because it doesn't look like you're guilty of it. You're just going to investigate and try to prove that you didn't do it, even though the test says you fell twice, right before UFC 200, and you did it again just afterwards, and then failed again. So, who's really more punchable here? Brock Lesnar, who will not own up to it, or Roman Reigns, who will own up to it? Oh, looks like Roman Reigns is actually better than Brock Lesnar, at least in some ways. But so, what I've been building up to in this video, why I think only 2 matches the faces are going to go over and the heels are most likely going to get over, like except for Sasha Banks and Charlotte and Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler, Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi. Like, except for those respective matches where I'm pretty sure the faces are going to win, SummerSlam has mostly for the last few years been reserved for the heels. Mostly the heels have gotten over. Maybe 1 or 2 matches, but in this case it's going to be 2 matches and a third unofficially not counting that is going to have heels going over, and the faces are going to be losing a huge amount of momentum in their personal war. But that's usually how SummerSlam has been booked in the last few years. So I'm predicting Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi are going to go over. Enzo Amore and Big Cass are going to go over. Sasha Banks is going to go over. Those are the 3 teams of faces that I know are going to go over. Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler don't count because they're not heels. But the rest are all going to most likely belong to the heels. So, well, yeah, that was basically how SummerSlam has been booked. It mostly was the night of the villains. Because WrestleMania is usually the night for the heroes, because they want to do a happy ending journey on this, and then do the journey all over again. And SummerSlam is the night where the villains rise up. So that is the obvious booking philosophy that SummerSlam is going to have this year again. It'd be surprising if they don't if the faces get multiple wins and the heels don't. But that's ultimately why I kept saying only a few matches are going to have the faces winning and the rest of the heels are going to win their respective matches. So everyone, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.